This is the scent of Italy. This is Andrzej.
And unfortunately, this is Mariusz. Hi.
Andrzej wanted to confess something.
That this is a sponsored video, but it's not clear who will end up sponsoring whom.
Because we don't know what we're going to say in it.
We don't know what we're going to say, and it's possible that it will end up being my next scooter. The intriguing story actually goes all the way back to last year, specifically when...
2 years ago.
2 years ago? 2 years ago, when Mariusz and his wife decided to buy a Yamaha NMAX for their household.
That's not true. I just went to the dealership and sent my wife a picture of a grey NMAX and a blue one, and I asked, which one looks better? And she replied, the grey one. So for me, that was a clear sign that we were buying it.
Exactly.
So I bought it.
So I told Mariusz that he bought the wrong scooter, and to prove to him that he bought the wrong scooter, I bought a Honda PCX 125. And the problem is that, well, to this day, I haven't managed to prove to Mariusz that he bought the wrong scooter back then. Because, well, despite all the fondness I had...
And you have...
And I have...
And you sometimes have...
And I sometimes have... So simply, well, there wasn't a single argument in that scooter that could beat the Yamaha.
2 good scooters, Japanese ones.
Just ordinary, normal scooters. 2 years later...
Normal people choose these scooters.
Yes. 2 years later, here we are. And as you can see, my hand smells like fuel, but that's because I filled up the scooter. And Mariusz, I don't know if his Vespa smells, but his Vespa does smell a bit.
It's the mix.
It ended up with Mariusz not caring about his own safety or how the motorcycle rides. What matters is how it looks and what kind of story it carries. So he ended up with a Vespa PX 125. I, on the other hand, always pay attention to whether something works. Somehow that's just ingrained in my head, and I want a new scooter. And it turned out that there was such a topic to cover. I look at it, and it could be my scooter.
Aprilia SR GT, an off-road scooter, versus Vespa PX 125. With my Vespa, everything is both good and bad at the same time. The brakes work and don't work. The engine works and doesn't work. It's comfortable and uncomfortable.
And with the Aprilia, I have no idea at all. And you probably won't find out today, because these will just be first impressions, since this Aprilia will probably stay with us a bit longer, because I'm learning not to make decisions on impulse, which still doesn't work, since the package just arrived with some kind of bike bag and wheels.
That's called a midlife crisis.
There will be a separate video about that, about the midlife crisis. But these are just first impressions, because so far, both visually and technically, this scooter really appeals to me, since it has 3 centimeters more suspension travel than regular scooters. It has a large front suspension, and the wheels are kind of, well, something special. As for gravel, I'm not so sure. And it has some features that I don't really know what they are yet, so I'll find out what they're like, and I'll ride this scooter multiple times in different conditions, and we'll see whether I end up buying it or not. Mariusz, there's one thing I'm going to do right now, just to make it look like this is a thorough scooter test. And that's to try to fit a helmet under the seat. There's this ongoing war among scooter manufacturers about how many helmets you can fit under the seat, but in reality, there's no way you can fit 2 helmets under the seat of either a Yamaha or a Honda. There's just no chance for 2, but will one fit? I haven't done this before. Is it a normal helmet? You came in.
And now look, give me your helmet.
Can you fit 2?
When I open it, look.
Mariusz?
This is just a regular classic Vespa scooter designed in about 1969. You close it and forget about it.
Mariusz, when you bought this Vespa, how much did the renovation cost afterwards?
The owner gave me a bit of a refund after a polite heads up.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? I bought it on impulse. Sunday evening I watched the auction, Monday morning I bought it.
Exactly. And you bought it for some amount. I don't even remember how much.
Well...
12, I think. Even 12.
Yeah.
And how much did the renovation end up costing?
Well, it depends. It depends if you count extras like the suspension. The renovation itself wasn't much, maybe 2,000.
But to make it really nice?
About 4,000.
So this scooter costs about the same as that scooter. And this one comes with a warranty. So I'm the type, I mean, for the price, the Vespa is great, but I just don't have the time and...
Now, I should say what Polish motorcyclists say, if it doesn't have gears, it's a toilet. And my Vespa does.
Right?
It's true. The new one is nice, but the Vespa is nice too.
Yeah, both are really nice.
To quote a classic, if the Aprilia SR GT can handle all the terrain, you can buy it.
Yeah, no problem. The only thing that surprised me is that it has a key. And one thing that disappointed me is that it has CBS here, not ABS. But you know what? Does the new model have ABS?
Number.
The new model already has ABS for 23, so that's no longer a problem. Let's go ride, because I want to take a spin and know whether to order it or not. How do you start it?
As quickly as possible. Ooh, so smooth. Ladies, let's get on the bikes. But I already have my first impressions. When I rode it here, the suspension is better. There's more.
This one has Showa suspension.
I don't know if it's better, but there's more of it. Because with every scooter, as soon as you ride here, everything starts rattling, right?
I can't comment on that because my Vespa has YSS suspension. It works exactly the same as the old suspension.
If the scooter doesn't rattle, that's already a big plus. You've got it yourself, indeed. Alright, it's time to thoroughly evaluate and put to the ultimate test the impressive off-road capabilities of this vehicle. We are about to embark on a comprehensive assessment, pushing its limits across challenging and diverse terrains to truly understand the performance of navigating. This rigorous examination will involve traversing uneven surfaces, steep inclines, muddy paths, rocky trails, and various other demanding landscapes designed to simulate real-world off-road scenarios. Our objective is to ascertain how effectively it handles these formidable obstacles, how its suspension system performs under stress, the efficacy of its traction control, and the overall stability and control it offers in extreme environments. This detailed evaluation will provide invaluable insights into its robustness, durability, and suitability for adventurous expeditions beyond paved roads, confirming its prowess as a truly capable off-road machine. Unfortunately, the footrest is positioned in a rather uncomfortable and somewhat awkward spot. Let's sincerely hope that this particular issue has been completely fixed in this year's updated version.
First of all, I just wanted to say that the Vespa went up the curb without any problem. I honestly don't know why. It's probably the approach angle, I think, since you're a more intelligent person than I am. But what I see in front of me, unfortunately, is a place where I don't see a no entry sign, and it looks a bit bigger than the curb. It seems to me that if this scooter can get up there, then it's already accomplished.
Then I'll have some coffee and watch. The Vespa is backing out of the challenge.
Can it make it?
Of course. Turn off the ABS.
Luckily, I don't have it.
Ah!
That was too easy. We need to do it differently. Now, without a running start, alright, this is still too easy. Now we'll see if we can go up, and once it gets onto the hill, if it can start and make it up. No.
The Vespa can do it.
This is still too easy. We agreed together that if the scooter made it up here, it doesn't need to climb anywhere else.
Quoting a classic, the scooter has crossed the entire terrain.
Exactly, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Hey, I mean, no one really needs more than that. I don't know if you can see it. Who can calculate what the angle of approach is here?
No, the camera just doesn't capture it, but the hill is like this. I don't know how much steeper it would have to be for anyone to even think about trying to ride up it. When I got here, I thought it wouldn't make it up,
But it did.
but it did.
Good job, Aprilia.
And I don't know if you saw the jump with the failed landing on the street. That was my simulation of a situation where you're suddenly surprised by a huge pothole. And I was surprised too, but mostly by the fact that the suspension didn't bottom out. I'm really not sugarcoating it right now. The suspension is noticeably better than on regular scooters. Because honestly, never mind the brand, since we know that all scooters in this class are more or less similar to each other.
That's true. They differ in the details, but here the suspension travel really makes a difference.
The suspension travel really makes a difference. And in a good way, when you ride, this scooter doesn't rattle like the others, where even the smallest bump makes it shake immediately. On the downside, it's noticeably taller and handles differently. Not that it's worse, because all scooters have a low center of gravity and they turn the same way. This one rides less like a motorcycle, but still a bit more motorcycle-like.
Yeah, you can really feel that tipping point.
Well, the center of gravity is higher, so it wants to lean more into the turns. I'm surprised that this scooter, which costs $19,000, doesn't have things that you would expect it to have. No, I know ABS is already there.
It has ABS, and a scooter doesn't need anything more.
Well, that's actually true, because both of our scooters have traction control. Traction control can be found in 125cc class scooters. It's the dumbest thing that could be there, because I've never used it. I turned on the traction control once when I deliberately wanted to test how it works on a polished garage floor. And what happened was I gave it some gas, it slipped, the system kicked in even harder, and the scooter just stopped.
Well, that's just marketing selling feature. Like your scooters have this, but ours has traction control. When you think about it as a layperson buying a scooter, you go, oh, traction control, just like in a car, that'll be useful. But it never actually comes in handy, even if you're just riding around the parking lot.
Because you don't realize you only have 15 horsepower. And it's not like you have 15 horsepower all the time when you're riding. The torque is so low that with these tires, it's impossible to break traction.
Okay, but our scooters don't have 15 horsepower, they have like 12.
But this one has 15?
Yeah, this one has a maximum allowed for 125cc for homologation, so that's a difference.
And in fact, it's much faster than the Vespa.
Because the rider on the Vespa is, I'd say, on the heavier side.
The better one. Hey, do you know what this button is for?
Mhm.
You know this is the opposite of other systems? This button is to connect your phone, but when you connect it, navigation and directions don't show up on the screen instead. What you see here appears on your phone. Speedometer, RPMs, and things like that.
Aha.
But it's marketed as an advantage. Our scooter has a button with a phone symbol and others don't have that.
All right, but there's probably an app and you can check fuel consumption and stuff like that.
Yeah, probably things like that, right. And probably it will somehow,
It probably doesn't have GPS.
but it does indeed have a start on off button and a dedicated mode button, and it also clearly shows
Range, 220.
range, 220 with half a tank of fuel. We have half a tank of fuel and a range of 220 kilometers. I feel like both the worst and the best 125 scooter tester at the same time.
Unfortunately, we don't know any. I mean, we do know some. Derek Borovich could test scooters more than we do.
Darek Borovich should take the scooter and he should be the one to evaluate it. What I like is that it's fast, it offers a bit of protection. And when I sat here with a youngster, he was sitting, holding on here, and he had some protection here. I asked, can you see? He said he could see everything, and here it would be a little...
Scooters are advantageous. We ride with sons. I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably everyone will say it's bad, that it's irresponsible, because they're not 7 years old yet. But you can ride 45 kilometers per hour.
And the kids sit in the front.
And here they keep their feet on the tunnel.
On the tunnel, they sit in the front. And why did I also want a PCX earlier? Because it had handlebars made of tubes. I imagine that he would hold onto the tubular handlebars with his little hands, but it always ends up, no, he just grabs the grips and that's it. And he's already learning how to use the throttle. Does the law prohibit letting a child under 17 take control?
According to the law, children should sit in the back, so we're doing everything wrong.
No, that's not regulated.
Really?
The only thing regulated is that you can't exceed 405 kilometers per hour.
Aha.
And I don't do that.
I like it when my son twists the throttle because he knows that when there's a turn, you have to ease off a bit.
Yeah. At first, when he was just over 2 years old, he would keep the throttle fully open all the time, but now I've noticed he started to modulate it himself, so that's really useful. And by the way, the Aprilia also has handlebars designed so that if someone doesn't want their child to touch the throttle, you can hold it yourself.
Okay, that also comes in handy because you can put on higher handlebars if you like. But on the NMAX, it's all covered in plastic, so you can't do that. On the PCX, it's also designed so you can do it. But here, it's just 4 screws. Like on a motorcycle, you can swap out the handlebars in no time. And what's important is everything you need is right here. I don't know if the new Vespas are like this, but the old Vespa is made so you can't just swap out the brake master cylinder, because here it's bolted on, but here you can replace everything.
But the whole ABS thing is weird because you press here, and it pushes alpha. Look.
Well, but the new one has ABS, so that's no longer a problem. The only thing is you have to remove the center stand to make it more off-road because it's really low.
But I'll test it out in a moment.
That wraps up my test because I'm off to ride the Vespa.
I'm about to go ride the Aprilia too. I'll try to put the jokes aside because Smoke and I could just keep talking and talking and talking, and that's it. But what's the deal with the Aprilia SR 125 GT? Why did I even get interested in it and agree to do a sponsored piece with this machine? Because I don't always agree to these things, and that's because this one's a bit different. You know, 125 scooters are usually ridden by beginners, so you're probably watching this. If the scooter is from a well-known brand, new and under warranty, you usually won't be disappointed. All of them will be fine for riding, but the idea that a scooter has a bit more suspension does open up a few possibilities. Of course, we don't expect that you'll immediately start taking this scooter on off-road adventures, but if you live in places with pothole-ridden roads, gravel roads, or you just expect a bit more comfort, then this is it. Remember, scooters usually have terrible suspension. All the ones I've ridden, even the really expensive ones, you ride them and every single one goes thud, thud, thud. And here, the thud is smaller. Sometimes there's not even a thud, just a soft path thud. So it really is a good idea, and I'll be riding this scooter more, and I hope we'll manage to make another video, because I always say we'll do things, that will make things. But if the second material appears, it means I actually rode this scooter, because that's when the materials don't appear, when I don't feel like riding something, but I do want to ride this one. See you. The full test will of course be in the newspaper.
Andres Jagiel.
Cool. I like scooters. Scooters are actually the best. Scooters are everyday life. Scooters are like breathing. Scooters are like milk with stale bread. Always at hand, and at the same time delicious.
That's an essential element, a fundamental component indeed.
Have you ever eaten milk with stale bread? If you add cocoa, it suddenly becomes fancy.